I'm going to cook 2 Christmas ham recipes for you, both with glazes. The first one with a pineapple, ginger and miso glaze, and the second one with a peach and ginger glaze on top. Both of them are delicious. The first one comes as a kit, so we do all the hard work for you. The second one, you do all the hard work, but you've got to do the dishes for both. If you're a little unsure how to take the skin off, shoot to the end of the video, but you want to keep this with the sharp end of your knife and as thick or as thin as you like, and you don't need to too perfect with this. The oven has been preheated to 170 degrees Celsius, sitting on a wire rack and a couple of cups of water in there. A couple of tips before this goes in the oven. The first thing is you want to get your ham out 3 hours before you want to cook it, so it gets to room temperature, or starts to, right? Get your sangria in the fridge. We kept the skin. We want to do that. Sitting on the rack, the water is in there, and the skin goes on the top. The oven has been preheated to 170 degrees Celsius. I've got my glaze out. That's ready to go on later, because it's a lot of heating to get that hot in the middle, and we just want it to be 62 degrees C in the middle in the oven. Hey, tell me what you want from Santa in the comments below, and you will go in the drawer for one of my Simon Gault all-purpose graters. All you got to do is place a comment below. You'll be in the draw. I'll draw it on the 24th of December. Merry Christmas! And see how good the skin has worked on this big bad boy. Look at that. So we're going to keep the skin. Look at that. Just a thing of beauty. And you can literally have this glaze as a sauce. It's so fantastic. So it's been in the oven for 2 hours. I advise you to keep some of the glaze because it's just delicious as a sauce with your ham afterwards. Back in the oven. Buy yourself a thermometer so you can heat to an internal temperature of 62 degrees. It's a game of patience. There we go, 61 degrees. So close enough to 62. Now I'm going to leave this to sit like this for 20 to 30 minutes. There you have it, a buffet glazed ham set to go, served with some bread, some beautiful mustard, a truffle mayonnaise if you take your pick for that, or we've got the glaze left over. I've got my sparkling sangria. I didn't drink it whilst I was cooking it. I kept the skin, and when I wrap my ham in my pillowcase or my towel or handbag that's been soaked in the vinegar water, I will use this to put on top so that I don't get the glaze all over the ham. Happy days, everybody. It's a peach and ginger glazed ham. I've removed the sliced ginger, now blend. Slice your crystallized ginger into pieces so that you end up with little sticks of the crystallized ginger. The trick is to slide the ginger in between where you've scored and then put the cloves in the little squares that you've got. Ginger glazed ham, Christmas time. A bunch of questions of people saying, should I put foil on my ham to stop the glaze burning? There are sugars in glazes, and in the pineapple one they're natural, and the peach one there's sugars from the peach and from the brown sugar or maple syrup, and they will burn. So the trick is to leave putting most of the glaze on until right at the final stages in the last 45 minutes of cooking the ham, and then start basting your ham every 10 to 15 minutes. That way you'll have a lovely golden colour on top. Use a sharp knife and cut through the rind of the shank. Now let's start at the opposite end of the ham. Gently lift off the rind and let's run our fingers between the rind and the layer of fat. You want to leave as much fat on the ham as you possibly can. And when we reach the scored end of the shank, just gently pull it off the ham and let's try and do it in one piece. Just gently pull the rind back off the ham. Sharp knife, pointy end. Let's do some crisscrosses. You can do diagonal ones, straight up and down, whatever takes your fancy. And those crisscrosses are genius to help keep that glaze on your ham. You can see I'm using this wire rack because I want to get it up off the oven tray because I'm going to put 2 cups of water in there. Actually, you may need to add a little extra water to the tray towards the end of the cooking because it might evaporate. Combination of the pineapple, ginger, and all the spices with the umami of the miso is just delicious. The trick to the perfect ham, and this means you need to go and buy yourself an early Christmas present if you don't already have one, is a temperature thermometer that you can stab in and work out what the internal temperature is. And you want it to be 62 degrees Celsius or 143 degrees Fahrenheit inside. Now, I'll put a link in the below where you can buy a fancy thermo pen like this, but you can race out, buy yourself an early Christmas present of a cheap one. It'll do the same thing. How do you store your ham? Well, grab a ham bag, not a handbag, a ham bag, or a pillowcase, a tea towel, 4 cups of cold water mixed with 2 tablespoons of malt vinegar or white vinegar. Then wring out the excess water, place your ham in your bag or your pillowcase or your tea towel and store it in the fridge. And then every couple of days, you probably want to pre-soak the bag again in your vinegar water solution and then wring it out and go again. You can keep your ham after cooking in the bag for approximately 10 days in the fridge. As a rule of thumb, when you go shopping, you will need 250 grams of bone-in ham per person if you're trying to work out how much ham you want for your Christmas day. Another rule of thumb, for every kilo of ham, it needs approximately 22 minutes in the oven at 170 degrees C. I love leftover ham in wraps, sandwiches, pasta, salads, frittatas, using it instead of bacon for breakfast, diced into rice, I mean, you name it, right? Don't slice off too much ham when you start slicing on Christmas Day. Just get what you need at the time, and whatever you do, rest it for 20 to 30 minutes. But by slicing just what you need, you'll have juicier ham when you go for a little later. It won't dry out. Here is a brilliant finger food idea for your Christmas day. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.